Let's fuel up, Limo. Lots of people to tell about customizing and saving with Liberty Mutual. Those are mine.
This holiday season, you can count on King Soopers. You get up high quality with our exclusive
Save your money, man. Save your money. Save your money. Save your money, miss. Save your money, lady. Save your money, bruh. You know what I'm saying? Save your money, man. Save your money. Ain't nothing out there for you. There's absolutely nothing out there for you. Save your money, man. That's you know, that's been, low key to really high key, but it's been the play, man. That's been the fucking play. Turn it, you know what I'm saying? Turn it. Like, just boom, buy the necessities. I'm gonna make this brief. There's really not, you know, much to say around this topic, a topic that I chose, save your money. This is something that I always talked about, may not have always been able to execute. Sometimes you get gridlocked fucking with this system. sometimes you get gridlock fucking with this system, and you can't, put away a little pillow. I always call it a pillow, It's a pillow. Save your money, man. But like I said, turn it. You know what I mean? Turn that shit. Turn that shit, meaning, there's a lot of brothers and sisters out here speaking on investing, you know. And with that said, you gotta attach to invest wisely, make smart moves with your bread. Like, and I just think that's important. That's very, imperative that if you haven't been doing it your whole life, if it's not something that you even seen people around you do, yeah, you ain't gonna have that type of motion. You ain't gonna have that type of discipline of saving your bread, saving your money. You know what I mean? Investing, turning it over into something greater that'll make the money work for you. Like I always talk about using money as a tool. Using money as that's all it is. It's like, I got a backpack. Anybody that know me always describe my whole life like this. I got a backpack and you'll literally see me with this backpack. I got a fucking backpack and it's full up with tools. You won't know what's in there unless I show you. And I only show you if I fucking need it. Like, but anyway, the point of the matter is, yeah, money is a tool. Like it's not something that's supposed to uh uh be taken lightly, be used as leisure, be used as, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta make your entertainment an expense. You gotta make, your fuck shit an expense. You can't just be, you know, like a leaf with it. You can't just let that shit just blow in the wind like however which way your feelings go. That's another thing on the side note. And the side note, which I'll probably speak on this on a whole nother joint one day, is soon. Uh, the feelings climate. Everything's about feelings. Feel good. I just want to feel good. Not really be that. Not really. You know, I just want to look good. Not really be that, but to me, it's at all time high. I don't remember growing up in no climate like this. Hell no. Like I always use the analogy of everybody got Jordan 1s now. That's one to me. It's like niggas every time Dick and Harry, every walk in life got Jordan 1s. And it's nothing that, boom, do what you do. All I'm saying is like when did that shit shift? It wasn't always like that, y'all. A lot of people can attest to that. They're like, yeah. These niggas wasn't talking about, the labels and all that shit back then. Fuck no. Everybody? Nah. It wasn't like that. It was not like that. And the thing about it is, like, I look back at growing up, the labels meant everything. And I can see it's still the same thing with these youngins, you know, with the young ladies and the young little brothers and shit. They still worrying about the labels. And and now that you done fast forward, how many can agree with this? Now that you older or what have you, or if you gotten older or you evolved from this mindset, you look at the motherfuckers, right, and you like from a removed pair of goggles vision, you looking at it like, that was once me. Now you got a closet full of shit that you only rock something when you step out to a special occasion or what have you. Other than that, it's all work. And if that's your business, boom, you dressing nice. It aligns with your business. You know, everything is business. Like a lot of people can relate to that. Like it's like, nah, you know, you're not gonna catch me uh, rocking Jordans and shit all the time. When I'm like a trendsetter, you know what I'm saying? That's the thing with that as well. It's like I I like to get nice shit just to look nice, you know, when I step out. But other than that, that shit don't mean shit, man. That shit don't mean shit. All them fucking labels, that shit don't mean shit. I've been talking this for years, and it ain't just talking. It's I'm actually in motion. I'm actually in motion. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the type that I'll give you the tangible. I don't like to talk about my shit. I'll just hand you the tangible one day, and then you'll be like, "What's this?" And I'm like, "That's my shit." You know, first one is on me. First one is on the house. and it was the same thing when I was younger. It'd be of course, some shit you turning over or whatever. You know, you turning that shit over. How many of you could say that you'll come to, if you this type of human being in your equation with your circle or whatever, whoever the fuck you friends or family with, you bring to the table, uh, you know, a play, you know, something that, you know, and you only brought it to them. You only brought it to them on some shit like you trying to, you know, level up, and you have respect with them for them, of course. Like you look at you leveling them up is a part of the play, if that makes sense. Like you have your people in mind when you make moves. You know, you have your people in mind when you make moves. So you like, oh, you know. But anyway, boom. How many of you can say that you done came to the person with the play, and you only came to them because you thought it was going to be received in a different way. You thought it was going to, you know, spark something or what have you. But then you run into it, and that you basically exploit that they're not on that type of wavelength. They're not on that type of frequency, you know. And it's not even on no, you know, slander or belittle or, you know, shoot them down and none of that. It's just purely like, oh, okay, now the plan got to change. You know what I mean? The plan got to change, you know, which on another side note, we always got to attribute our plans to the Most High. Like shit, nothing gets greenlit but through the Most High, and nothing gets greenlit but through the Most High. Any other bullshit that you like try to throw and let it stick on the wall, hey, yeah, that's what you literally gonna be doing. But anyway, uh, yeah, like, you know, they didn't receive it well, and, you know, plan got to change, you know, and it's important for you to see that, because that'll mean that, okay, that person is relying on you. They're relying on you. They don't have the different practices that you possess. You know what I mean? Like you're frugal. You might be a frugal ass nigga or a cheap ass bitch. You know what I mean? These things it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you'll hear it from the masses, right? You'll grow up hearing it from the masses. You know, this nigga ain't never there, or you know what I'm saying? Like every time I see her, all she rock is, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, as you get older, you realize the rebuttal could easily be shut down. Like, nigga, you don't pay my bills. You know, you don't pay my bills. You know what I mean? You feed me, you know, you shouldn't be worrying about me. You know what I mean? That shut it down. To me, that shuts it down like one, you know, 1, 2 real quick. But other than that, you realize that you're on an island with that type of shit because everybody has been groomed and conditioned to, you know, you got to keep up with the Joneses. You got to compete. You know what I'm saying? You got to compete. And ironically, unfortunately, you know, my people being a black American, you know what I'm saying, being FBA, here in this country, I've realized that, and I realized this when I was in high school. I realized this in high school and probably before that because I grew up with the first Deions and the first Bo Jacksons and you know what I'm saying, the Jays and all that shit. I grew up with all that. The first down hats, the Mecca. You know what I mean? Like it's like that's all I could say. That's all I knew. You know what I mean? I could say that's all I knew. You know what I mean? Like to the point where, the fila and all that shit, the cross color, like, all that. Like you got that shit on. And that makes sense because this you can't take this away from us. We're people that like to, look good. And with that look good shit, like I said, it's that feel good shit. That feel good shit. And those necessarily can work against you. They could be a gift and a curse. It could also work against you. You know what I mean? Like to the point where, you have bread, you got bread, you got your little gig. I always call it you on the conveyor belt, you on the assembly line, hamster wheel. You got your gig, got your little bills, you got your bread, you know what I mean? All that, you taking care of what you take care of. And people would think that's all it is. That's where most motherfuckers ceiling, you know, that's where most people reach the ceiling. That be the ceiling for most people. Tell me I'm lying. That be the ceiling for most people. They don't got no extra crumbs or what have you to uh you know what I mean, push to different investments or take a risk on or what have you. Or do they? I always say I believe you do. You know, a person is only gonna do what they rather do, if that makes sense. A human being is only gonna do what the fuck they want than what they rather do. You know, rather is the key word. Like that means they have a choice. You know what I'm saying? The choice is not stripped. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like so, I look at it like I look at it like when it comes to having those type of disciplines, saving money, or choosing to save money and invest it in something that'll help the money grow, work for you, basically help make the money work for you. Uh, you've been conditioned in a system that keeps you on that hamster wheel, thinking that that's all life it is about. That's all life is about. Go to work, boom, holidays come up, you know, a lot of you, probably panicking right now on how you gonna get 30 people gifts or 6 people. It's just be wild to me, and it's like, man, you could form your own traditions. You could form like if you ask me, I'm the type of nigga that I give you some shit just because I feel you need it, cause that's what it should come down to. Like, damn, it ain't gotta be the dollar on it. It could be on some shit like, man, you know what I mean? Let me take time to, spend it, boom, to spend time. You know what I mean? Build like that. To me, those be the gifts. Those be the things we should be bartering our different talents and shit instead of, jumping on this hamster wheel, this assembly line that they done groomed you and conditioned you to panic and stress over. That's a thing. Holiday stress. That's crazy to me. That always bothered the fuck out of me. I've even went to my people and been like, man, I'm sorry to my mother, like as far as even putting pressure onto her, which I learned at a young age, because I'm from a household where she literally just told me, hey, you ain't gonna be getting nothing on da da da. I get it for you when I get my tax money. Like I'm from that kind of cloth. Like, and so you go to school, and you hear these niggas crying and whining and shit, and it's like, and then again, the niggas that was even around me, that was the same story too. But you know, when you run into the one that's crying and whining and shit, and it's like, damn, that's crazy. Where you from, man? I didn't even know that. You know, there's motherfuckers like you that exist that be crying over tangibles and belongings and shit. You know, what they ain't get or what they got, and it just be crazy. On the side note, I've had somebody walk up to me and compliment my vehicle. You know what I mean? Compliment my truck, and this is a whole man. Like, you know, before you think that you know, I'm funny with that shit. Yeah, I am funny with that type of shit. To me, it would even be funny if it was a female. It's just funny to me that, you know, like I guarantee you, if the truck wasn't available, like, are you hollering at me? You know what I mean? Are you saying, "Oh, peace, what up, man"? Like, are you doing any of that? Nah, man. you you probably look at me as competition, or you look at me as you know what I mean, a threat, or whatever it is that they done poisoned your brain to look at me as. This be a nigga that look just like you. You know, motherfuckers judge you off of the shit you drive or you got, or the garments you got on, some label you got on. And it's like, I realized that at a young age. Like, man, I don't give a fuck what this nigga think about me. Like, that's wild. He's not my brother. If that's the bargaining chips, if that's the, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a fuck about that. That shows me what kind of level that person is at as well. Off top, it's like, why am I going to spend time, you know, going back and forth with a dialogue with that? Unless the brother is my, you know, somebody that's receiving. Like, they ain't on no shit like, oh damn, like, you know, it's like a gnat. Like, they're attracted to the flashy, the shiny shit, and it's like. Yeah, I don't want to waste time with that. Like, I bring you close to me, you gonna try to rob me. These are just the facts. I always remember that part on Next Day Air with Mike Epps and Wood Harris. he said, he said, I'm one of them niggas. Like, them niggas gonna try to rob you. And he was like, I'm one of them niggas. Like, yeah, that's the facts. You can't make that up. It's like, what? The fuck you mean you ain't gonna get me? Or you know, I never, people be throwing out this bullshit. I'll never lie to you. I'll never steal from you. Yeah, right. The fuck I look like. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Save your money, man. You know, the play is like, boom, you see the, I'm gonna incorporate this. You see the boycott or whatever, blackout, mass blackout, and whatever. They say that it was a flop, you know, which, you know, is expected, right? It's expected. You know, you're not dealing with people that even know how to churn their own butter. Like, they don't know how to hunt, don't know how to, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of shit. People don't know how to fish, all kind of shit. You know what I mean? We live in a straight microwave world. Like, stop lying to yourself. You know, if somebody but see you doing anything, like, boom, for example, this is just crazy to me. You could be changing your tire on the side of the road. You know what I'm saying? People often look at that as lost art. There's not many men that are even doing that anymore. They'll dial that AAA up, and there's nothing wrong with that. You pay for it, but even that choice, you see what I'm saying? Let me pay for AAA. Let me pay for AAA. You know, drop them off 100 or whatever the fuck you pay, and it's like, damn, you could ixnay that bill right there just by getting down and, you know, getting your elbows, you know, dirty, your hands dirty. Not even. It'd be shit like that. It'd be shit like that. I used to look at this when I was younger. This is on another note. I used to look at this when I was younger, the different names. Uh, the different flavors of cereal, the different names and the different flavors of cereal. As a little boy, I would look at it and be like, I would think that all of them are in the same fucking building. And then fast forward, I got older and did the research, and they are, they are, they literally in the same building. That was crazy to me. Like I'm talking about when people would be like, "Oh, I got Kellogg's." This is just how this stupid shit that we just get conditioned to debate over dumb shit like this. Like, "Oh, I got the new da-da-das on," or "Oh, I eat this," and and it's like, what? These niggas got you fooled. They all in the same fucking plant. The no frills bag and the damn, toucan Sam ass nigga. You got Fruit O's and then you got Fruit Loops. Like, yeah, it might taste different. They use the same machine, I swear. And then you see the Chinese. I don't look at it like they came out the bag. This is like a no brainer to me. It was a no brainer. They said that when you see somebody like a Louis Vuitton or Gucci and all them or whatever high end brand that people pay for, you basically just paying for a label. Yes, that is what you're paying for. Like it's a private label. If you ever heard of white label companies or shit like that, like that's how a lot of these things go. You can do it. You can do it. That's what I always promote. Like save your money and pour into a a hair product that you use. You know what I mean? White label that shit. You know what I'm saying? Turn it over. This is just game, and it's common sense to me. But it ain't really common when, like I said, you'll have people around you that don't even think like that. So you'll become an anomaly. You're like sticking out. And it's like, and it's important, like I've said this in plenty of lives, it's important for you to hold that, do your work, do your diligence, you know what I'm saying? But do not share it with the doubters, the non, factors, if that makes sense. The motherfuckers that are like, nah. You know what I mean? The niggas that got a pocket full of money and is burning through their shit. Or they see your money and they trying to burn your shit too. Like it's just important to hold that thought and just, work it. Get in the lab and just, formulate that. Whatever it is, we make it tangible, make it, build off of that thought, build off of that vision, that drive. You're setting yourself apart, and whenever I talk about being set apart, I always attribute that to the Most High. The Most High sets us apart for a reason. That means removing you from an equation that you thought you was like smooth groove. You thought you was, you know what I mean, in the clear and autopilot type shit. And it's like, nah, I got greater for you. You know what I mean? I got a greater purpose for you. I always look at, whenever I say set apart, that's what I immediately attribute it to. It's like, oh yeah, hell yeah. You know what I mean? And it's not even on no aha or looking down or punching down on nobody. It's nah, he actually makes you the one that's set apart in the equation for a fucking reason. You know what I'm saying? It'll make you be the one set apart in the equation, in your environment for a certain reason, you know. But yeah, save your money. There's nothing out there for you. Save your money if you like the different products so much. Think about saving your money and pouring into your own product, making your own product, make your own, you know, make your own, and go from there. You can make it a communal thing, you know. Uh, it's easier said than done, of course, but you won't have to have your failed boycotts. That's the number one thing when you boycott. Like people are not leaving this part out. I've noticed, which I'm sure of these people know that I'm not trying to discredit or you know assassinate anybody's intelligence or anything like that. I just look at it like that's the most important key to boycotting is having a replacement. You got to have the fucking replacement in play. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you withheld from going to the big machine. You withheld from going to the big machine, and you know the play ain't about throwing a monkey wrench or whatever in the big machine's groove. That's it. That's going to go. You know, they know that you don't have the legs, you don't have the crutches to stand on it. You know what I mean? Meaning they know you don't have no replacement. You know what I mean? They know you don't have no backup. You know what I mean? What you gonna do? Who you gonna buy your Q-tips from? Who you gonna buy this loofah from? Who you gonna buy this medicine from? That's how they look at it. Like, you know, all the way down to the most minute shit, you know. You talk about Target, and it's like, yeah, that's why they have it all in one, you know, super center. Like, how you gonna break it down? How you gonna get rid of this? You know, how you gonna get rid of this? What you gonna replace with this? You know what I'm saying? They know that you're not on that type of mindset. You're not on that type of wavelength where, you know, you sacrifice for a couple seasons just to, you know what I mean? Come back, come back and pour into something that is gonna make you, you know, not just a couple seasons bubble, you're gonna make your rest of your life bubble. They know you're not on that. You know what I mean? They know you're not on that. And they know also if you are on that shit, you on the island. You know what I mean? You on the island, you know. You on a fucking island and you only gotta rub shoulders with motherfuckers that ain't even in your family, but then you know they distant family or whatever. You know what I mean? It's not your last name or what have you. You fucking with strangers but like minds. And that ain't gonna do nothing. You know what I mean? That ain't gonna do nothing. You gotta actually have the shit crack within your degrees, within your bloodline, you know, your kids. They know that you see what I'm saying? Like it's a lot of things that just uh as far as things to run smoothly, it all gotta start with the home. And then when you see the dysfunction, when you see the problems, it's because it's coming from the home. You know what I mean? It comes from the home. And when you break off, you end up being on the island, like I said. You'll just be alone with that shit. Like ain't nobody on that same shit, you know. Ain't nobody on that same shit. My thing is, it's like you steady pouring in the brands and shit, right? That they don't. They look. Not only have they never shown you that they gave a fuck about you, they also have shown you that they don't give a fuck about you. That's the crazy thing about it to me. To me, you know, I turned my pair of Nikes into some lawn shoes, you know, and made money doing the lawns, you know. I turned them into some little beat up shits, you know, painting them and shit. I'm doing all kind of trades and some Nikes, just fucking them up. I turned them into some work shoes, you know. Like, oh, you so that we don't give a fuck about the people that prop your shit up. Like the nigga in Oregon or whatever, he didn't make Nike pop. Who make Nike pop is niggas way down in the hood. You already know. Way down in the fucking hood. Always. Everything. All these labels. You know what I mean? That's what make everything pop. So with that said, like if you was to withhold that dollar, withhold, and there's plenty of brothers and sisters that got companies that replace the brands that you became accustomed to, you became a slave to. Like there's plenty of people out there with things. You just gotta, uh, uh, take the risk, take the risk and pour into your people though. You know, and the thing about it is y'all have a lot of criticisms for people that do put things on the board, do put points on the board and you ain't doing shit and you have criticism, little do you know the people are built to take the criticism too, and they know it's coming from a nothing ass nigga or a nothing ass bitch that got this criticism. And that's weird to me. But at the same time, we built for that type of shit. We'll take that and be like, okay, yeah, like I would like to know the tweaks. But on the same note, you got to know I'm going to come back with, you don't even got no access to the nigga in Nike. You don't have no access to the nigga at Gucci or none of that. You just got to take the product and fucking eat it. You don't have to, you know what I mean? You're not going to do your due diligence and, give mass feedback and all that. You don't give a fuck about that product, really. It only matters. It only matters if you got it in front of somebody that don't got it. You just want somebody to see you. That's it. Because once somebody see you, it don't mean nothing. Tell me I'm lying. That shit go right back in the shelf in your closet or whatever and get dusty. Unless you some street runner, night crawler, unless you just outside. And as you get older, that depletes, that decreases. Like, fuck all that. If you ask me, I've been moving like that since I was younger, though. I get the fuck out the way. Pop in and pop out, get the fuck out the way. Like I realized a long time ago, I'm not like the others, and I was okay with it. And what makes you realize that the others realize you ain't like others, and they okay with it. Like this, that notice you're on some different shit. Where you get those at? Like, oh, these was the ones on clearance, nigga. I know I flipped them, how I freaked the fuck out of them, huh? Them shits look clean, huh? And you're like, and this nigga thought he was gonna go get some $150 type shit. And it's like, nah, the bitch is still gonna go see me on these, and she gonna see those. It's still the same. It ain't about what the fuck you wearing. It ain't, it's who's in it. But yeah, these are just the things that be on the same wavelength to me as saving money. You know, I've always looked at money as a tool, and it's a tool that has caused a lot of unnecessary problems. You know what I mean? It has, this social construct, right, has caused a lot of unnecessary problems. Problems that bartering wouldn't cause. Yeah, bartering, you know what I mean? Everybody put on the table their talents. Everybody come to the table with a service, you know. And, of course, to me, of course, I would say the one that turned all this, I would have to do my research. Don't quote me on it. I would say just off my pre thought hypothesis of why money was created, it was created out of the prostitution industry. I would have to say it would have to be money had to been created through that type of industry. Other than that, everything was just barter. Everything was just barter. Like I got these two chickens up to this. I got, you know what I mean? I could come till your land, and like I think that's how that was. But once it came to pussy, you know what I mean? Once it came to selling pussy, that's when money came into play. It's like, yeah, you can't put no price on this bitch. That's probably what the first nigga said. But anyway, yeah, saving money, man. It's saving money. It's nothing out there for you. It's oversaturated. Everything is flooded anyway. You know what I mean? You're not, stepping out in some shit where you can actually be original, if that makes sense. You're actually just assimilating and going along to get along, without no play and emotion. Uh, like I said, most people think the key to life is just go to work, pour into your 401k, raise your kids, uh, uh, go on vacations. Every holiday, come around, boom. What you want? What I'm getting? Like they don't really have no past that. Like, oh, let me be a piece on the board. Let me be instead of the pawn, let me be a piece on the board to where it can be beyond me, think beyond me, think beyond me, like fuck this little paper money, fuck this shit, like you know what I mean. Let me use it as a tool which is that's what the fuck it is, a tool, like hammer to a nail. And then, you know what I mean? Make this shit crack. And I'm thinking beyond me. Like when I'm long gone, just you just saying a nigga name. My shit is still in motion. You know what I'm saying? Use it as that. Save your money and pour into, you know what I mean? If it ain't you, you got somebody that's around you that got a product. You know what I mean? They don't talk to you about white labeling toilet paper, white labeling, cleaning products and shit like that. And you probably just looked at them like what a deer in the headlights looked like, or you probably gave them the same bullshit. Oh, that's dope. I was thinking the same thing. It's like, no, you wasn't. Stop lying. You know what I mean? Just pour into that nigga though. Pour into that young lady. Like don't be on no, hate and shit or compete and shit. You got that nigga around you for a reason. You know what I mean? Listen to him. You know what I mean? Stop trying to make it seem like that motherfucker's trying to top you when he's trying to help you.